Are you ready for the weekend yet? We have events, news, and a guest for you to enjoy this Lake Life weekend. Hello and welcome to another episode of Lake Life Weekend Podcast. My name is Dirk, I'm your host. As every week, it's weekend 13 approaching. And if you have been unable to visit us in Fargo at the Civic Center last weekend, we had a really good turnout. We missed you, but we did not want to keep those live on-stage programs from you. And that's why we have many recordings which we want to share with you. And today you will be hearing Mike from La Cava Kite Surfing in the Twin Cities. He has an amazing program, amazing events, and we sure hope to get him up here to our area sometime this year, even to do like a kite surfing demonstration, race, all kinds of things, gathering people who are interested to learn more about that. And there is also Jeremy, previous guest from ours and partner that has been at our Expo multiple times. Jeremy has some news about Hydroflight sports in the area, so stay tuned to learn more about that coming up. And we will also hopefully have some events with him throughout the summer in our area again. So yeah, I don't want to keep this much longer from this recording. Enjoy, and if you want to find out what's going on in Lakes Country this weekend, please go to our website lakelifeweekend.com and find daily updates, news, events, stories, road trips, all kinds of things. Follow our Instagram if you haven't, and if you don't mind, please rate this podcast on iTunes or wherever you listen to those recordings. That would help us get the word out. Thank you very much for tuning in, and if you have any concerns, you can always email us to hello@lakelifeweekend.com. Have a great weekend
I have with me here on stage Mike from Minneapolis with his business La Cava. He does kite surfing and will give an introduction about that newer sport activity, outdoor activity. And then we have with me here Jeremy, and he does the Hydroflight sport. It's all extreme sport to some people, me included. And I thought we just have each introduce themselves a little bit and talk about how it works, what it is, where it's from. And I guess we don't know anything about kite surfing or hydroflighting. And then I'll give you, we can sit down too.
Sounds good.
Yeah.
Hi there.
You gotta hold it close.
Ready for this? I'm ready.
Yeah, Mike, I contacted him 2 years ago already, and I found you on that internet thing. And I know in Europe, kite surfing is comparably more popular than in Minnesota, I guess.
I remember that conversation when we talked for the first time.
Okay.
You called, and yeah, you were very excited about wanting to introduce this to the Lakes area. And I think your idea, your vision, your interest is fantastic. And I'm thankful for bringing me here. It took a long time.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you for coming.
Yeah. And you're right. It is actually more prevalent, more general awareness of what kite surfing is. So kite surfing, snow kiting, how's the sound?
Gotta hold a little closer.
A little close. Kite surfing, snow kiting, more commonly people have seen kite surfing and less snow kiting, but we live in the Midwest. There is lots of snow here. So my business is year round. I've been fortunate to do this since 2009 as a full-time job. So I have a store in the Twin Cities. I started kite surfing in 2004. And then I have a lesson program where I teach people how to do this. I have a sales program to help get you outfitted with gear. And then I try to make you come on trips with me around the world so we can go do this together. That's my job.
So thinking of kite surfing, and we all know it as a kid, there's this little cord, or like this little device, and it's not very big and it's not very strong. So maybe you tell us about the dynamics. It's the device is sitting here.
Yeah.
It's,
This is a small kite, and I know that you've got a couple of visuals to go through at some point too. But yeah, there's bits and pieces to it. So in the wintertime, skis or ice skates or snowboard, whatever you like to do, control bar and lines. These lines wrapped on this bar are roughly 20 meters long.
20 meters.
So
I like that.
60 feet or so, because we all learned the metric system, right? No. There's a harness involved, and the harness takes the lion's portion of your pull. And so here's an event that just took place March 2nd. This is specifically March 2nd, and we're on Lake Mille Lacs, and we're just every year, 15 years in a row. Next year will be 16 years of it. This is snow kiting with skis. You'll see people on snowboards, and we had roughly 60 racers this year. But this is just one time where everybody chooses to get together and converge. But the idea is to get connected with the bar and lines, the harness, to the kite. Kite sizes vary. This one is really good for kids and for super high winds. That's on stage right here, this little yellow 2.5 meter. What we're flying on these kites, Jeremy, if I'm blocking you here, I don't know. Most of the people on that day, I think winds were somewhere in the neighborhood of 15 miles an hour with gusts to 22, 23. We're on 15, 12, 13, 17 meter kites. And the kites grab the wind, and then you lean against the wind and drive whatever on your feet. So in the wintertime, this is snow kiting. And in the summertime, we do hydrofoils, surfboards, twin tips. There's a lot of ways to play. You'll find that I believe this is an activity that is not age or gender specific, so it's for everybody. And I also believe that it's less of a investment. So the cost to get into it, roughly $2,000 to $3,000 to get the gear. You can totally try to beat that and get some barn find deal, but kites are fabric. They're parachute pants from 1980 and stitched together. So all that stuff wears down. And if you have a hard top or a soft top convertible or a grill cover, just any fabric outdoor, just know that it gets beat down. So be very careful. Caveat emptor, buyer beware when you buy used gear, unless you know the person. And I'll be happy to help you through the process just as the business goes. But yeah, so grabbing the wind with the kite, put a kite up in the air, and
Off you go.
Off I go, yes. Yeah.
Well, but like maybe I'm getting older and I'm getting always scared of things. I'm getting scared of breaking my bones and such. And I see that you actually take off. And the question is like, how high do you fly? And how hard do you fall? Like I can see it in the open water way better than me on an icy lake.
Smart. I've been doing this since 2004. I have broken 2 ribs off of one accident 7 years into it. And I believe in being transparent because I am 50 years old. I have 4 daughters. My wife would kill me if I get hurt doing this stuff, not only as a career but as a hobby. So I am more along the lines of risk averse. So how do I enjoy it without getting hurt? Yes, you can jump, you can boost tremendous heights, and you could soar with these things. But these are all disciplines that you learn within it. So when you see it for the first time, I work really hard to not show the aerial side. So much so that when I started doing this, I told my wife, I have no interest in boosting. So if you haven't seen this, just Dirk, right? The heights that you can go are dangerous, and you have to fly that kite while you're in the air. But when I started doing this, I told my wife I don't have any interest in jumping because I honestly did not. I didn't lie to her.
I was going to say, was it the truth?
It was the honest truth. I just wanted to sail. It looked incredibly peaceful, and I wanted to figure that out both on the snow and on the water. And after about 2 years, I felt confident enough for my skill set to start taking a jumping lesson. And I told my wife I was going to go take a jumping lesson, and that was 2 years after the fact. I said I wouldn't, and as though I had just told her yesterday, she said, "You said you weren't going to jump," because she knows it can be dangerous, and it can be, without a doubt. But I love the aerial side. Once you get into the air, it's amazing. And then now adding hydrofoil boards, like air chair, somebody said earlier, if you've ever seen these.
Yep.
Standing on top of that stuff, it's floating on a cloud. It's please talk to me more about it. Yeah.
So does your wife fly, and do any of your 4 daughters?
So my wife and I have 4 daughters,
Yep.
and my 4 kids do. My wife does not.
Okay.
She just doesn't grab her interest.
Okay.
It kind of works in my favor a little bit. I do my best to even out that deal. But no, my kids, my 11-year-old's really starting to get almost to the point of being somewhat commanding with the gear and the kite. She's also she's in volleyball right now this season in the Twin Cities. It's year-round, and so she's cautious about not getting hurt there. But my 9-year-old says that she can do it, but she really can't. She flies a trainer kite, so those are another nice way to get started. And then my twin 20-year-olds, they're not as afflicted with the interest as I am, and I'm careful as a father to not push it on them, but they know how to do it. And matter of fact, we just talked this morning about taking a trip with the twins that are coming up on spring break. So
okay,
yeah.
so
my wife, no.
How many flyers? How many come to that event? You said. Was it
So that
90?
one, this time we were somewhere around the neighborhood of 60 or so kiters.
60.
But onlookers, we probably had about 150 in the town of Garrison.
Oh yeah,
On Mille Lacs, so not too far from here.
that's a number.
And
150.
Mille Lacs is a fantastic location to do this. Matter of fact, you guys have really good lakes close by, so access for you is not a problem.
Yeah.
Midwest winds, if you get to travel around the world a little bit, you'll discover the winds are punchy here versus smooth and clean, steady like a fan winds, which are nice for manipulating the kite. But
Here they are punchy.
here they're punchy. They're a little. It's Midwest, so we have interrupted winds. We have changes like just inland weather conditions is what affects it.
So you see it a
But
lot.
not coastal.
Yeah.
Coastal areas, they have more trade winds, and that's where visibly it's more popular. Here in this area, and again from the Twin Cities, we have 10,000 riding locations. And you're asking me how come more people don't do it? Well, actually, there's a lot of people that do it. You just don't ever see it because they're somewhere. They're on Upper Cormorant. They're on what are your lakes around here? Where do they go
Ottertail
to?
Lake,
Ottertail, Ottertail, Alexandria, all that stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay.
You say long and you hit about. You say Long Lake, you hit about 50,000 lakes.
Yeah.
Yeah, Pelican, Brown, all that stuff.
Yeah,
yes.
that's
Yeah.
true. Well,
Yeah.
I'm really excited. I hope to get an live event sometime established where we can try it or see it on like a big cormorant on Ottertail Lake. So I hope maybe even this year we will get you up and have a live event. I'm working hard on that still.
I would like that. It really makes more sense when we're with kites ready to go.
Yeah.
And it would be wonderful if we
I'm
can
ready
make
to
it
go.
happen. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And the season's in transition right now. So we're just finishing winter season. So snow kiting and ice kiting, all that stuff is, I think, probably up here. We could probably go. I know the winds are up tomorrow. Actually, I was looking at the forecast.
Oh,
yeah. But I'll be here. Here, you guys can still kite a bit. You can kite on land if you want to as well. But the lakes are starting to deteriorate, so it's becoming less and less safe. But happy to talk to you guys more. Thank you again so much for having me and being persistent and getting me up here. In the Twin Cities, if you're ever getting down there, I will coordinate events with places like Ottertail Lake, but it's just a coordinated effort to get going. But certainly, please do stop into the booth over here with the big, tall yellow flags.
Yes.
And say hello.
Yeah.
Please.
Thank
Okay.
you, Mike,
Yes.
for the
Thank
intro.
you.
So Jeremy was with us in one of our podcast recordings last year. I've seen him live. Actually, I tried hydroflighting already a couple times. As a thank you for my interview, you took me out one night with your
Yes.
family and your private like your group. So I know it's fairly easy. I'm of course a natural, right?
Yeah,
I was a
you did
natural.
awesome.
I was up in the air, and it was fun. It was really fun.
Yeah, you were definitely getting high
I was
in
scared.
in the right context.
Yeah, exactly. But I was a little scared. He controlled the height with your not snowmobile,
Jet ski.
Jet ski. Sorry, they're all foreign objects to me. So you can maybe introduce a little bit the concept, and then I know you have an announcement for the local area about hydroflighting, but maybe give a brief introduction about the sport too. And
Yeah. Absolutely. Thanks again, Mike. I look forward to flying with you in any device we can announce to the world.
We'll have some fun together.
Nice. I'd love to fly. So I'm Jeremy Walker. Also, I fly airplanes as well. It's kind of my passion. Is I love to be in the air. I don't like to fall so much, but we can go over that through my accident record later. So this is I'm Hydroflight Lake Life. Started this company about roughly been doing this about 6 to 7 years. The basic concept of this is I'm just taking water propulsion from a jet ski. I'm going to put it in a hose, 4.5-inch diameter. I'm going to shoot it out the bottom of my feet. Now, basically, all I'm using is the power and pressure of water pressure, which is the most dynamic, unique element in our world. I mean, this thing water is amazing. It's the most unique thing you could ever imagine. Just look it up. Water is crazy. It defies all logic of common sense. Anyway, I take that and I just use that to power myself up with my feet to control my direction. And then there's other devices. That's why Hydroflight kind of just went from flyboarding up to a jetpack. It started with the jetpack, where you can come off your shoulders, control it with your arms. So that's kind of like a harness situation, like you're sitting in a jet. From there, there's another thing called the hoverboard, where you're kind of sitting on a snowboard style thing, and it shoots out the back, and you're able to kind of skate through the sky with the direction of how you're running the nose of that board. So Hydroflight really has evolved into several different opportunities. There's like a motorcycle looking device called the Jet Love. There's new Fly Ride, which looks like a jet ski you can fly. So you're going to see a lot of these things start to come out of the woodworks in the next 5 to 10 years, and they're safer than pulling somebody behind a boat in any, like a tube, skis, wakeboard, because you don't have that upper body pulling on the forces of that momentum of the boat. Now we're just going to use that, and your body is naturally going to want to direct where you're going. So the flyboard from 9 years old all the way up to 90, I mean, everybody flies. I've done well over 2,000 to 3,000 people in these past few years, and I've had 2 people that didn't fly, and that was usually a medical thing with their ankle, or it was one guy had really high anxiety and could not get over the water and having his feet strapped in, so he felt really isolated. But that was the only 2 experiences I've had, because I never give up on anybody. So I guarantee you're going to fly, because I kind of see what you're doing. So the majority of my job is just to talk away that stress, that angst of oh my gosh, what is this? I feel like I'm Houdini. My feet are tied to this unit, and this guy just pushed me in the water. Am I going to drown? But that's not the case. Actually, the power just comes to your feet right away once you feel it. Like Dirk can contest.
Yeah, you kind of sit in the water, and you have a helmet. I think I had a helmet on. Yeah.
Yeah, you have
so
a
you
helmet.
Feel safe with the helmet, and then you just elevate it like a elevator. Or
Yeah,
like a,
exactly. Just like standing on an elevator.
right. You just have to balance.
Yeah,
and
and we
get
have waterproof
out of-
devices, so I basically am right in your ear the whole time.
Oh yeah, you're talking. That was comforting.
Yeah, so I can walk through. I can see what your body language is doing. Everybody looks at this and thinks, wow, I'll never be able to do that. It looks like it's super balanced, and it's just way too crazy. I'm afraid of heights. But really, once you realize more power is more stability, you wanted more power.
Yeah. So that is the interesting part, and tell us a little bit more about how you navigate this unit, because you have a hose that is 40, 50 feet long, and then you can actually take direction.
Yes.
Well, you're supposed to do an S circle, or like talk about what do you do then once you're in the air?
Okay, so I'll just walk through the whole concept. You go out there, you really got to think of the ball and chain effect. The ball is the jet ski, it's a weight. The hose is your chain. Now, all the power is actually coming out of the feet, not the jet ski. The jet ski is just a water pump. So now it's just dead weight to you. So you want to pull it. So once you get the momentum of the jet ski starting to move through the water, you want to just keep ahead of it. Like you're, I like to say a snake in the grass, but let's keep the context on the reel. You're just you have to move around. If you cross the hose, you'll kink the hose. So you got to think of that concept. That's usually the main thing I try to get people. Don't cut in front of the jet ski, because you realize that jet ski is going to follow everywhere that line of hose is going where you've flown. So if you immediately cross that like you're tying a shoelace, well, now you're going to kink the hose, you're going to lose the power, and you'll come back down to the water. So that concept usually kind of starts to kick in once you fly and you get to look back and see where your hose is in the water. Then people get it, because when you don't see it and you got your feet underwater and you got the hose underwater, and they're trying to figure out why is the jet ski way over there, and oh my gosh, oh my God. And then all of a sudden, oh, you just lost power. Don't cross the hose. You know, kind of like the Ghostbusters, don't cross the streams kind of thing. So that kind of deal is how that works. And so I wanted to take this sport to a different level. So for the last 2 years, I've been working on a concept design to create indoor arena flyboarding. I want to bring this to every arena, Olympic-sized pool in the United States, and nobody's done it yet. So I've just made some recent connections to a local aquatic center that just opened up here in West Fargo. And I've reached out to the filtration and pump design system, and we are working on research and development for the first aquatic indoor flyboarding for kids swimming right here in West Fargo. So I'm hoping there's a huge campaign. We will be the first in Fargo in the country to have an indoor flyboard arena.
And you hook the hose up to a gigantic water hose in the middle of the pool, or how does that work?
Yep. So what I did is increase safety all the way around the deal. I took the jet ski out of the equation. Now we don't have something to land on. I took that out, and I put that hose attachment and that pump, and I'm going to take all the back pressure that's coming out of the drain of the pool, which is in the center of the pool, and I'm going to take that water and I'm going to reverse that. I'm going to have that where I can have a variable speed from 380 gallons per minute all the way up to 980 gallons per minute. I'm going to be able to fly 35 feet to the center of the pool, and I'm never going to be able to hit either side of the pool. So now there's nothing that you would ever fall on. There's no extra dangers. And what I'm doing is I'm creating this to basically I'm working to bring aquatics back in children's lives, because a lot of aquatics are suffering because kids are afraid to swim. If you look at the numbers of how many drownings happen a year, because kids don't know how to swim these days. And I know that sounds a little bizarre, but if you do the research, I don't like spitting out statistics, because then it takes long hair. I'm supposed to be kind of a surfer dude, you know what I mean? But the point is that there is a lot of people all across the United States that are very neglected from the swimming lessons as young children, and it's a big push all across the nation to get people to learn how to swim for their own safety.
Mm-hmm. So going back to, let's say they have a vest and anyways.
Yeah, we would still add the vest would be part of it, and the helmet would still be part of the equation. But we would be eliminating a lot of safety features or safety factors that are an issue today with the insurance companies. So it really just changes flyboarding from oh my gosh, I'm going to land on the jet ski, which I'm not going to say I have right now, but we'll talk about my experiences later.
So when I'm up in the air, I mean, like I can be standing straight up, but I have seen pictures and they do tricks too. So they do loopings, they do side kicks. So what can I do once I'm up?
Once you're up, so now just last year officially we have now committed to front flips as well. So we've had a double front flip by Guerrera. We've had quadruple back flips, which means it's limitless. We usually fly at about 70 feet in the air. I design a lot of the choreography for dance routines on the flyboard, where we do the night shows. And if you look at my booth, you'll see, or our website, you'll see we do a lot of laser lights on our wetsuits, and then we do music routines. So the sky's the limit with this, with entertainment between Olympic meets, with swim meets. We really want to boost not just flyboarding, but the Hydroflight devices to bring, like I said, not just aquatics, but also flight. Because at some point, our children need to learn how to swim, but at some point I feel like we're not going to be driving on roads. Our kids are going to be flying their cars.
Back to the future.
Yeah.
Well, the one thing you organized a few years back in Detroit Lakes was a night show, and I think
Yes.
you're hoping to get that off the ground once again. And that was a choreographed. Can you explain that in a brief moment?
Yeah. So back in 2016, I
water
had
ballet.
yeah.
Kind of?
Yeah, it's like a Cirque du Soleil show. It's kind of crazy. We had about 600 to 700 people show up with only 2 weeks to put this together. I had 3 of the top riders in the world, Jesse and Caleb Gavick, along with TJ Andrews, who was #1 in the world for a year. Those 3 came out to do a dance routine for me and the crowd in DL, and we had a blast doing it. Couple malfunctions, but I think it all turned out pretty good. We got no video footage of it.
I was just going to say, is it a YouTube video? I saw a video. You have a video.
Well, I have a video of 2014. I did it with
Oh.
Jesse and Caleb Gavick in 2014 as well, and that video turned out really well. But we lost all the footage on the 2016 show due to some camera issues. So, but stay tuned. We'd like to work out a big show here coming up this winter, as long as I can get into the arena and we get the prototype working by this coming winter. We will be doing indoor arena flyboard shows where we're going to be shutting down the lights. We'll have a lot of the local swim teams from high schools will be coming in, decked out in glow-in-the-dark light stuff on their bodies, and then we're going to have them do high dives into the pool while we're doing a routine.
Wow. And then we will film it.
Yes, and we will definitely be posting that on our sites, and we'll film this one. And but we really are really excited to announce this year is my main thing, is really expanding Hydroflight to the world. I mean, this sport has been so limited to the coastal regions. For, like you say, the trade winds over on the coastal is a lot better than having a lot of ground effect with the winds around here. So it changes the dynamic of how stable the environment is for what you're doing. Here, if we can only fly for, what do we get? We're only open 55 to 70 days a year because of the quality of the water and the quality of the weather for our business. So yeah, we don't do this very often this year, and that's our summer days. We are lake life living. So we've got a very short spurt of it, but I wanted to take this to a different level. I want people to fly all year round, and I want those kids that missed out on the summer lake time, I want them to come to the local aquatic center and learn how to flyboard for not even a fraction of the cost of what it is when they're out there at a resort and they got to pay top dollar. And it's all about sharing this experience with everybody and giving everybody the opportunity to use this as a learning lesson and an accomplishment, because I think that swimming is important. I think aquatics is important, and I think lake life is very important.
I agree. Thank you very much both for coming. You both have a booth down here. If you want to learn more about either sport, you can visit with them, and I think you can book classes with both. So if you are interested, visit them. thank you very much for coming up.
Thank
And
you.
Have a good evening, Lake Life.
Nice to meet you, Jeremy. Thank you, Dirk. Appreciate it.
Yeah, this was already our newest episode of the Lake Life Weekend podcast. We sure hope you enjoyed it. Tune in again next week with another great guest and updates. Always check out our website, lakelifeweekend.com. And if you have some comments, please feel free to email us at hello@lakelifeweekend.com. And you have a wonderful weekend ahead.